My name is Sarah Johnson. I have been married for 10 years, but we don't have any children. The reason lies within our relationship. My husband lost his father early and was raised solely by his mother. He had no siblings, though it seems he had a sister who died shortly after birth. As a result, my mother-in-law devoted all her love to raising my husband, Mike, as her only son. Before we got married, Mike appeared to be a very kind person. He was thoughtful towards his mother and dedicated to his work. With him, I could surely build a warm family. I believed that. However, that was all a lie. He merely wanted a woman to take care of his 75-year-old mother, who was in the early stages of dementia. If my parents were alive, they surely would have seen through him. Unfortunately, I have no parents. My parents also passed away shortly after I graduated from college. Blinded by what I thought was love, I became obsessed with the idea that he was my destiny. I couldn't see anything else and married him without any hesitation. But as soon as we got married, my husband hardly ever came home. Moreover, he barely worked. What I thought was his dedication to work was just an act I had been deceived by. I think this marriage was a mistake, but my mother-in-law, who was suffering from dementia, thought I was her own child who had died soon after birth, and she loved me dearly, and I came to adore her like my own mother. I couldn't leave her and get a divorce. But it's true that we're struggling to make ends meet. In the end, I had to do remote work while taking care of my mother-in-law just to get by. Yet, despite such a life, my husband would occasionally come home and take money from my wallet. No matter how much I protested, he would overpower me with violence and leave. My mother-in-law, perhaps due to her patchy dementia, would become lucid at times and apologize to me. One day, she wanted to visit a relative's house, so I decided to take a small trip with her. It was extremely tiring because of the long-term care, but it was still enjoyable. However, when we returned home, the front door wouldn't open. It won't open. It seemed the locks had been changed, and no matter how much I tried my key, it was no use. As I was fumbling with the door, my husband and a woman came out. "What are you doing?" He smirked as he opened the door. "Did you change the front door lock?" "Yeah, I'm gonna live here with my mistress from now on, so you guys better find somewhere else."
Wait, you can't just say that all of a sudden.
"Oh funny, what's with this woman?" "Stupid look. This is my wife. Though we've never really acted like a couple." "Really? You've never?"
Do you think I'd ever want to be with someone like her?
"I guess not, that makes sense. So, she was like a housekeeper?" "Yeah, she was, until now. But I've decided I don't need her anymore because I'm gonna live with you." My husband put his arms around the woman, showing off their closeness. I had suspected my husband had a mistress for years. Probably even before we got married. I guess I was just a convenient wife, a housekeeper by another name, existing solely to care for my mother-in-law. But at some point, my love for my husband faded away, leaving only my affection for his mother. Therefore, seeing my husband flirting right in front of me doesn't stir any feelings or jealousy in me. I understand we have to leave. But your mother doesn't have anywhere to sleep. Please let us stay until we find a new place.
No way. We've decided we're living here. So, you and the old lady need to get out. But what about your mother?
At that moment, my mother-in-law pulled on my arm. Her face was that of her lucid moments. "It's okay, but you'll regret this, won't you?"
"I don't think so." "What do you mean you'll regret it?" "I'm not at all afraid of some old woman telling me I'm going to regret it." "Don't say such awful things about your mother." "I don't know if she's out of it or what, but it's a fact that she's got dementia. No one wants to live with this old hag in the future." "She's your mother. I never asked her to give birth to me."
"It's okay, Sarah. Let's just leave."
"Mom."
"Yes, you're right." "Then, please allow me a moment to gather our things." Mike looked displeased, but the woman said it's better than leaving trash behind, so we were allowed inside. My mother-in-law packed her bags. I did the same, eventually picking up a small pouch she had mentioned before. "Mom, what's this?" Oh, you mustn't forget that. Thank you, it's very important, she said, placing it in the bag. Even though we were only taking essentials, the bags were surprisingly heavy, and I worried about how we would manage. What should I do? My mother-in-law can't carry that much luggage. Sarah, I'm getting hungry. Oh, yes, maybe we should go to a restaurant. She smiled and handed me her small purse. Use this money. Make sure it doesn't get stolen by Mike, keep it safe. The purse was a tiny clasp one, containing just a few dollars. Yet, to her, who no longer understood its value, it must have seemed a fortune. Thank you, Mom. I fought back tears as we left the house together. As we were closing the door, I saw Mike and the woman's cold smiles. I'll never forgive them for doing this to her. With that thought, we left. But outside, I didn't know where we would spend the night. I wished I could at least let her sleep in a bed. And yet, her own son, my husband, didn't care at all about her. His face kept flashing in my mind. That was almost bringing me to tears again. Each time, her smile would heal my heart. That's right, I have Mom. I'll do everything I can for her. Then she said, since we're here, I'd love to stay in a hotel. Feeling saved by her smile, I checked the contents of the purse. In the end, we decided to stay in a budget hotel, and I immediately started looking at rental property websites. I wanted to find a place for us to live as soon as possible, so she could feel safe. But then, she began turning her bag inside out, taking everything out. Mom, what are you doing? I'm looking for something. My mother-in-law was happily rummaging through her belongings, muttering not this, not that, examining each item one by one. I had no idea what she was searching for. Asking her what are you looking for, or what does it look like, at such times can frustrate her, unable to recall the names of things, and sometimes even lead to hysteria. So, I decided to wait until she was satisfied. Then, seemingly finding what she had been searching for, she exclaimed joyfully. This. You found it? That's great. It was the small pouch I had shown her before we left. I wondered what was so important about it. I felt hesitant to ask. Instead, I started putting the scattered belongings back into the bag. Then she began turning the pouch inside out. What is she looking for now? As I watched the contents of the pouch being spread out, I saw photos of Mike as a child and a ring that she cherished. So, these are her treasures. She really does care about Mike. It pained my heart. Despite her deep love for her son, he was engrossed in another woman, casting aside his own mother. I tried not to cry, but the tears welled up and spilled over anyway. I wiped away the tears so Mom wouldn't see, and as I was gathering the scattered items, she tapped me on the back. Yes. What is it? In her hand, with a gentle smile, was a bank book. What's this? It's my bank book. Use the money inside to find us a new home. But, this is important to you. It's not something I can take with me to the other world, right? So, let's use it. There are many things we need to buy, right? We need a bed, clothes, and appliances. Oh, and I think light green curtains would be nice. And, we need cute teacups too. We'll be in trouble without them when we have tea together, Sarah. Mom. Even though I had resolved not to cry, her kind words touched my heart, and tears flowed again. Wow, don't cry. It's okay, Mom is here with you. Please, be at ease. I'm sorry for making you go through such hard times. Sarah, we have a lot of fun things ahead of us, so no more tears. And, there's something I need you to do quickly for me. Really? I looked at her, and there she was, lucid as ever. It might be tough, but, can you do everything for me? That would mean you'll be alone for a while? It can't be helped, dear. I might be a little lonely waiting for you to come back, but I'll be waiting. Make sure you come back. Taking the bank book from her, I wiped my tears and nodded firmly. The next day, leaving her at the hotel, I ran around to fulfill the tasks she had requested. No matter how tired I was, I kept telling myself that it was all for her, and I persevered. Once we had decided on a new place, I bought furniture and appliances and completed the move swiftly. My mother-in-law was utterly pleased with the curtains that now hung at the windows of our new home. Just as life with her was getting back to normal, unexpectedly, Mike contacted me.
Hey, where's the old lady's bank book?
I brought everything belonging to her. What, so the bank book too?
Of course.
Huh, then hand it over.
What? Why should I give you her bank book?
Because it's the old lady's bank book. She can't manage her money, can she? So I'll manage it for her. I'm managing her finances, so there's no need to worry. You're not her real daughter, who knows what you might do? What a thing to say. You never cared about home stuff before. Suddenly, he wants to manage his mother's money just because we're separated. I'm her real son. So, there shouldn't be any problem with me managing it. But I'm the one living with her. If you take the bank book, how can I withdraw money for your mother's needs? She doesn't need anything. Yes, she does.
There are things we need to buy.
She's almost on her way to the next world. Buying stuff for her makes no sense.
How can you say that? Your mother still has things she wants to eat.
She's lived this long, eaten what she likes. It's better for her health to hold back now.
How can you say that? Your mother has held back from things she wanted to eat for your sake. Shouldn't a child be buying things for their mother?
If you think so, you buy them. I'm not interested.
I want to, but I don't have the money. That's why I can't give you the bank book.
So, you're saying you'll use her money however you like?
I didn't say that. I won't give you your mother's precious money because that's how you think.
Such a stubborn woman. By the way, where are you guys now? We're living in our new home. Oh, rented an apartment? No, we bought a condo. Why would you do such a wasteful thing? Wasteful? How is it wasteful when you took our house?
There's no need to buy a condo.
We thought about your mother's needs, a barrier-free place was better. Plus, condos have better security. It's important for two women living alone, don't you think it's scary not to consider these things? Two old ladies living together don't need to worry about security. No one's gonna attack you.
You never know what might happen.
Especially with a son like you, eager to take your mother's money. So, you bought a condo with whose money? Your mother offered to pay for it. So, it's as I thought. What? So, you're planning to use my mother's money, huh? How did you come to that conclusion?
While talking about security and barrier-free, you chose where you wanted to live and used my mother's money for it. That's not true.
So, you're exploiting my mother's money, huh?
Why would you think that?
Appliances and furniture, you bought all that with her money, right? Indeed, that's true. I hardly have any savings of my own. It's all because Mike took money from the wallet as he pleased.
All you ever do is talk, but in the end, you're relying on her money. You're truly despicable. Pretending to care for her while eyeing her money. Don't lump me together with you. It was your mother who offered. Because she's out of it, you can make her say anything, huh? In reality, you made her offer it. That money is actually mine. Why would it be yours? Because I'm her son. You call yourself a son? You never cared for her, not even once. And you left your elderly mother out in the cold. She's still alive, isn't she? No problem at all.
I don't want to talk to you anymore, I'm hanging up.
Wait, where's the condo you're living in? Give me the address.
Why should I tell you?
Just tell me. You think I'll tell you just because you say that? I'm her son. I have the right to know where my parent lives.
You're not planning to come over, are you? Who knows? If something happens to the old lady, I gotta be there, right? Gotta know for times like that. Do you really think I'd believe that? Whether you believe it or not doesn't matter. I'm her son, you don't get to decide not to tell me. Besides, the condo was bought by the old lady, right? Means it's her property. It's not for you to decide. Mike insisted he was her real son and demanded the address, no matter what. I didn't want to tell him, but eventually, I had no choice and gave him the address. A few days later, Mike showed up at the condo with his girlfriend.
Hey, open up!
Yelling at the monitor at the entrance, Mike looked like some thug. Why did you come? Weren't you supposed to come only if something happened to your mother?
I came to see my parent. Got a problem with that?
Is that really all? And to get the bank book, you know.
I told you I wouldn't give it to you. My parents' stuff is mine. Go away. I'm not leaving. Open up or I'll start yelling. You okay with that?
Causing a scene would disturb the residents. He knew that and was doing it on purpose. I regretted telling him, but it was too late for regrets now. Maybe I should contact security.
Just wait a second.
I cut off the monitor and called the security, explaining the situation. The security guard replied, "Please speak at the entrance. We can see and respond immediately if anything happens there." Understood. I'll go down to the entrance with my mother-in-law. After conveying this, Mom and I decided to head down to the entrance together.
The old lady came out.
As I opened the automatic door from the inside, Mike and his girlfriend entered. Hey, where's your room? Let's talk there. No, you can't come into the room.
That's why I brought your mother along. You wanted to see her face, right?
Damn it. Mom, long time no see. Mike looked at his mother and switched to a soft voice. I was worried sick when you disappeared. Then this woman took you away. I was shocked. Mike thought his mother wouldn't remember that day. So he lied, but she remembered everything. How shallow. How foolish. He underestimated his mother to the end. Hey, Mom. It's fine living with this woman, but keeping the bank book with her is dangerous. This condo, she decided on it, right? Do you know where the money for it came from? All from your bank book. All the money you saved, used up by her. So, give me the bank book, I'll manage it. His mother just looked at Mike but didn't respond.
Hey! Mom! Can't you recognize me? I'm telling you, everything you've saved is being used up by this woman. So, hand over the bank book to me. I'm your son, remember?
Who are you?
What? It's me, Mike. Your son.
No, I don't have a son like you.
What are you saying? Why would you think that? Because you're out there? You don't even know me?
I'm not out of my mind. My son is still little. She said that, showing a photo she was holding. It was a photo of Mike when he was a child, from the pouch.
That's a picture of me when I was little. Mike is at school right now. It can't be you.
Then who is this woman? My wife, right?
This is Sarah. She's my child.
What? This woman is a stranger to you. You forget your own son and call another woman your daughter? Saying that, Mike grabbed his mother's shoulder and started shaking her. Then, the previously vacant look in his mother's eyes sparked, as if she had come back to her senses.
You're a stranger.
Her voice, now strong and different from before, said that.
What, completely gone now, huh? Truly a useless old lady.
No, I'm not gone. You're a stranger, since I've disowned you. Disowned, what? Yes, that's right. After you kicked us out of the house, I cut ties right away. You can do that, even between parent and child. Yes, I can. I made a will and removed your name. What are you doing on your own?
It's not on my own, it was your mother's will.
So, the old lady doesn't have children now? No, I have a daughter. Sarah is my child. But Sarah is my wife. If I'm disowned and a stranger, then Sarah is a stranger too, right? Sarah was adopted by me and became my daughter. That's absurd. After being kicked out and crying, what my mother-in-law asked me to do was to process Mike's disownment and my adoption. And then, buying the condo and moving. All of it was her will. Even if I'm disowned, doesn't that make me still your son? Too bad, huh? No matter how it turns out, I'm still part of your family. That means, whatever belongs to my wife Sarah, belongs to me. We'll see about that. What do you mean? I've hired a lawyer, so they should be visiting you soon to discuss the divorce.
Divorce? Why a divorce?
Why? You haven't come home since we got married, don't work, have a girlfriend, and don't contribute to household expenses. Worse, when you do come home, you steal money from my wallet. Of course, you'll be divorced. That's not something new. If you wanted a divorce, you should have said so earlier. Until now, I didn't want to leave your mother behind. But now that you've been disowned, and I've become your mother's daughter, divorcing you means I remain her daughter. Now I can finally cut ties with you.
That doesn't mean you should adopt the old lady.
Your mother told me before. You're up to no good. Can't predict what you'll say or trust you, especially with a girlfriend around. She said if you ever tell us to leave, we should pack up and leave right away. So, you backed down so easily? That's part of it. But arguing would have just led to violence. I didn't want your mother to get hurt. It seemed pointless to resist. So, you knew I'd eventually tell you to leave. Yes, so we had a plan ready for that moment. But honestly, we didn't expect to be kicked out right after coming back from our trip. If you hadn't let us back in to pack, we couldn't have taken the bank book. That was nerve-wracking. Unbelievable. I thought you were gone, but you're quite alert. Indeed, I do have dementia signs. And with mixed dementia, I'm often lucid. You wouldn't know since you never really looked after your mother. Wait. What's all this about? You said there was an inheritance. Just wait a second. You're the only child, so when the old lady dies, the inheritance comes to you, right? But if you've cut off parent-child ties, nothing comes to me. And this woman is now the child? The inheritance will go to Sarah. After all, she's my daughter now. What about the pension? What happens to the money in the bank book?
Nothing comes to me. That's the worst-case scenario. I dated you because you said there'd be money coming in. What a complete waste of effort.
Mike's mistress, believing his promises of incoming money, was only with him for that reason. And upon realizing no money was coming, she left Mike and exited the condo. 2 weeks later, Mike came back. This time he was alone. I called the security office, requested their presence, and went down to the entrance. Sarah. Mike was there. He looked pitiful in his worn-out and dirty clothes. It was astonishing how much he had changed in just 2 weeks. You've changed a lot. Yeah, no money. Even if you're out of money, the way you've changed is extreme. The woman took all the money I had and vanished. How much did you have? About $1,000. $1,000. Hearing that a grown man like Mike had been robbed of $1,000. And he turned shabby because of it, I couldn't help but think it wasn't a lie. That's tough. Yeah, it is. Without that money, I can't buy anything. I've nowhere to go, no place to live. Well, that house isn't rented, you could still live there. Well, yes, but the lawyer you sent over with the divorce papers said to sign immediately and demanded alimony. Well, that's expected. The affair was on your part. So, let's start over. What? If we divorce, I'm screwed. No money, nowhere to go, I might as well die on the streets. But you have a place to live. Let's use my mother's money together. That money isn't for you to use.
But you're using it.
No, I'm not using it. You used it for this condo. Indeed, the purchase of the condo was with your mother's money. But that's because she told me to buy it. And the living expenses? You're getting that from her too, right? Then include me. We could live here together. The living expenses come from my own work. Really? Since you never contributed financially to the household, I had to work hard. I worked and cared for her, and you stole the little money I had. I'm sorry, I was out of my mind back then. From now on, I'll manage the money properly. I am her son, after all. You're not her son anymore. You don't need to worry about your mother, live your life as you always have. Don't say that. Even if you say live as you like, it's not that easy. That's not my concern. I consider this meeting our last.
Why?
If you come here again, security will turn you away. If you persist, we'll call the police. So, don't come back ever again.
That's too cold.
As I nodded to the security guard, they silently escorted Mike out of the condo. Afterward, without any money, Mike began doing day labor, barely making it through each day. Moreover, the house was sold at the instruction of his mother. Thus, Mike truly lost a place to live and now spends his nights at internet cafes. Furthermore, after our divorce was finalized, he was demanded to pay alimony, which led him to borrow from a consumer finance company, and thinking he might as well borrow enough for living expenses too, he ended up borrowing a whopping $100,000. Without thinking about the consequences, Mike quickly found himself in a spiral of debt, and managed to rent a cheap apartment, but his life became a cycle of part-time jobs just for debt repayment. No matter how hard he worked, he couldn't keep up with the repayments, and his debt continued to increase. He reached out several times asking for help, but because he was too persistent, I blocked him. Once he realized he couldn't contact me, Mike showed up at the condo, but, due to the tight security, he couldn't enter the building. Despite waiting stubbornly outside, he was eventually taken away by the police, and a restraining order was issued against him. I am still living with my mother-in-law, spending our days peacefully. Sometimes, as she laughs to herself reminiscing about long-gone days, I watch her, and during these moments, I am reminded of my biological mother, and I bask in the feeling of happiness, enjoying our tea together with matching teacups. And we were praying for this lifestyle to continue indefinitely.